Welcome to the Career Show here with Eddy Gemmell, and 3TFM is www.3tfm.org if you want to tune in online. And we're on every Friday between 6 o'clock and 8 o'clock if you want to tune in and listen to these interviews and other useful information that's going to be helpful to yourself. And this week we're probably going to be covering mental health. But with me just now, I've got a special guest. Introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Cheryl Newall. I work for the Ayrshire Community Trust and I lead the Positive Steps with Partners project.
Well, usually I kick off by asking about your kind of secondary education and primary education. Primary education, let's look at that. Where were you brought up and what was your school?
Well, I was brought up in Ayrshire in Stevenson, so I went to the very small Ayrshire Primary School, which was a great experience for me. I loved it. It's a very small school within a quite tight-knit community, so it was a really good experience for me living down next to the lovely beach.
Yeah, I think in Ayrshire, were you a Thistle fan or a Wreck fan?
Well, I'm not really into football, but I would say Thistle. I live next to the Thistle just now, so I'll go with them.
During that kind of school time, I mean, had you any kind of ideas what you'd probably do in the future?
Oh, well, I always remember I wanted to be a firewoman growing up, but that never came to anything. I think probably just looking back, it was very much a man's world back then. So that kind of idea left me quite quickly. When I went to secondary school, you know, it was kind of childcare and things like that. So that's the kind of route I went into. I remember doing my work experience at school. I was in Canal Court, but it's no longer there. So I was in working with the elderly. So I had quite a wee mix experience during my school time, and when I left the school and to childcare.
So, I mean, secondary school, where was that? Was it Auchenharvey or?
Auchenharvey, yep. So that was, the best years of your life, as they say. Had great times there. But the truth is, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. You know, I just kind of, that's the kind of thing it was kind of put to me, and I went for it. I was quite creative. I loved my art and stuff like that. So when I did get into childcare, I was, you know, I was always doing the big murals and the walls and stuff, and making the Play-Doh, and it was quite good. It was good for a wee while. But really, like probably a lot of young folk, you kind of don't know what you want to do, so you're kind of just exploring what kind of options are out there.
And your favourite subjects were, you're saying art there, was that one of them?
Art and English were my two favourite, and I did enjoy PE as well. I quite liked PE. I enjoyed a good game of hockey, although it could be quite dangerous. And I remember getting a black eye and playing basketball.
Did you manage that one?
Oh, well, do you know, it was a guy called James Hill, and he actually works for the Health and Social Care Partnership, and I wonder if you would remember this. We were playing basketball, and all of a sudden we were all running down one end of the court, and the ball went up the other end, so everybody just stopped and turned round, and I was behind him, and he just ran right into me. So I ended up with a black eye. It was quite sad.
So basketball was out then.
Aye, but no, I had a really good experience, both primary and secondary school, I'm glad to say.
Were you a fifth or a sixth year?
Sixth year, went right up to sixth year, yep. And then after that I went to the Kilmarnock College, but it was a Bank Street campus. So I done my NC childcare there, and I got to go on some placements, which was really good. Really enjoyed that. But I didn't go into childcare.
No.
No. I actually ended up working for the Candy Bar in Saltcoats.
All right, aye.
But well, prior to that, I worked in the bingo hall in Stevenson. Do you remember the Gala bingo?
Yes, I do.
So while I was in 5th and 6th year at school, I worked here, which was great because it gave me pocket money. And I was able to kind of enjoy being out at the weekends and treating myself to things. That job progressed. I went to the Candy Bar and there was a donut fryer, which is There's pros and cons, because when you're frying donuts, they smell amazing. And you've got to resist the temptation of eating them all. But, so that was a great job, and actually my husband still works there. That's where I met my husband. So
in the donut bar.
In the donut, he was, yes, that's he was the baker and I was the baker's assistant. There you go, Eddie.
And two donuts, mate.
That's something along the lines, something along the lines. But it was great, and that's kind of where my adulthood kind of started. In terms of career, you know, what I'll say is the job I'm in just now, if you told me back then that I'd be in a job like this, I would never have believed it, you know. I went on to have my kids, and it was when they were toddlers, I was thinking, like, it's time for me to kind of think about what I want to do. I wasn't sure. And lo and behold, volunteering. I went to, at the time, do you remember the Better Neighbourhoods?
Yeah.
Down in Gavin Road, I went in there and I met a woman, Anne-Marie, who worked for the Volunteer Centre. And she recommended volunteering with the Children's Outreach Services. So I'd done quite a lot of after school activities and summer holiday play schemes with them, and at the Staincastle School and the James Reid School.
Yeah.
And at first I thought, oh, I'm not sure if I'll be able to do that, but I thought, right, open mind, need to try new things, and I absolutely loved it. Do you know, it was the best experience in my life, and it helped me really kind of discover myself and my potential. Because quite along the line, I would say I never really reached my full potential because self-doubt, you know, just that kind of motivation to push yourself a wee bit further, I kind of lacked it, and it was due to low confidence. But the volunteering really supported me to grow and develop, and it opened up other doors. So you'll be familiar with the Steps to Excellence course.
Yeah.
So at the time, my supervisor said, Cheryl, I'm going to put you on this course. And I was like, oh, what is it? And she went, never mind, you'll love it. And it was the Steps to Excellence course, and it was Anne Wilson and Sheena Ingram. Do you remember Sheena Ingram as well? They were delivering that in Ardrossan at the time when they were based in the Cunningham Housing. And that course just, wow, it was amazing. I came away from that course thinking my life will never be the same, and it never has. It's changed for the better. And I come away thinking, I want to deliver that. I want to be able to deliver this course. And ironically, that's what I do for a living now.
Yeah.
So, but that came from my volunteering. It encouraged me to go back to college, and I get my social care. And that, again, I'll just say, is something I never believed I could achieve. I never ever thought I could achieve a higher education, and I've done it. And again, along with that, I passed my driving test in the same year, so I was about 30 by then. And that just absolutely opened up so many doors, job opportunities. I got a job with Cunningham Housing Association. At the time it was called the Heat Team, but that project's now evolved into Citrus Energy. Yeah. So when I started, it was just a blank room with flat pack desks and chairs, and me and the wee team had to build up our wee office, and we made amazing contacts with the tenants and helping them, you know, manage their household bills. And then a job opportunity came up with the volunteer centre, and I thought, I'm going to apply for that, because I just felt this connection, that job's mine. And I got the job, and I've been there. I was there for about 3 or 4 years working with them. It was initially covering maternity leave, but they kept me on, which was great. And then I had a wee break, and I worked with CIS Ayrshire. Again, it was more employability focused, so that was really good. I worked with them for a couple of years. And then I seen another opportunity with Ayrshire Community Trust, which was the volunteer centre, and I've been there ever since. So my journey's kind of went full circle. But I'm in a job that I love. I support people. who were maybe a wee bit like myself in the past, didn't really know what direction or, you know, what your true potential. So it's good to, the kind of work I do, it's good to really help folk kind of look at their strengths and see where they can, you know, take them, what volunteering opportunities can help them develop and grow their strengths. And I think because I know that volunteering's helped open so many doors for me, I know it can help others. So I'm a good advocate of promoting that and encouraging folk. Plus, I don't know about you, I still do a lot of volunteering in my spare time. I'm the secretary for the Cunningham Ramblers. So that's getting all the kind of communication about what walks are up and running out to the members. I lead walks for the group as well. Again, walking is something, a passion of mine, just because of the health benefits. If you've had a particularly stressful week, it's good to get out in nature, outdoors, discover. We've got quite a lot in North Ayrshire, so we have. And I think I love what I do in terms of my work. I'm always looking to grow and develop as well, because I don't, you know, we always, the lifelong learning, we can always learn a wee bit more and do stuff. And I probably knew at this stage of my life I enjoy learning a lot better than what I did when I was at school, if you know what I mean. So, but I know it can be hard for folk when they particularly, they maybe haven't worked for a wee while, and you know, when you're applying for jobs, they're looking for 2 references, and so folk are quite, it's quite easy to gear up just then because you think, well, I've not got references. So volunteering's a great way to kind of get some fresh references, but just boost their confidence as well.
Yeah. I'm going to come to your first track.
Right.
Bon Jovi. Why have you picked this track?
Well, growing up, probably the Bon Jovi takes me to my kind of early teens, and I picked It's My Life because at that stage you're kind of looking for what direction that your life's going in, and I know when I was young I was probably a wee bit of a follower, so it sticks with me because it gave me the courage to kind of say, no, take control, this is my life and this is what I want to do. And it's about doing things to please yourself and not try to please others all the time. So that's why I picked that song, because it takes me right back to maybe about 14, 15.
Well, let's hear that track.
You're listening to The Career Show with Eddy Gemmell.
Okay, I'm going to come back and talk about a kind of topic, and you've gave us a good sort of cook's tour of the type of work and jobs and ideas and education that you've had. But one of the things that you've kind of mentioned, and I know this is important to a lot of people out there, is confidence. It's trying to pluck up the courage to go and do what you've been doing. I know you said earlier there that when you were younger, you felt you didn't have that confidence and the self-esteem to go and push yourself. Was there a reason for that, or do you think it's just the way we are?
I really think it is just the way we are. A lot of it depends on the influences in your life as well. We talk about good, positive wizards and negative wizards, and sometimes even people you really love can be quite negative around about you. But what I say is always listen to your inner self. You ever, went with the crowd, but you had a gut feeling that you should have done something different, and then it doesn't work quite as well as you thought, and you think to yourself, I should have just done what I said to myself in the first place. So I think probably for me it was growing and developing and learning to trust your inner self, your instinct, because quite often we can ignore that. So if you listen to yourself, your confidence grows, because you learn to trust yourself a wee bit more and don't look for reassurance as much for other people. So I think, although I had like a good upbringing and had a good mum and dad and things like that, there's always kind of things that they're not always going to be able to help you with, that you need to kind of have your own, intuition, if you like. So it's just about developing and really just taking time to listen to what you really think and trusting yourself. And I think with that, your confidence does grow.
As you're aware, I mean, we work with young people as well, and when they're sort of that 14, 15, 16 stage, it's a very, very difficult stage. I mean, they've got expectations, they want to do things with their lives. And sometimes they'll come up with ideas and you say, oh God, I don't think you're going to make that, but you're trying your best not to discourage,
Yeah.
Do you find that that's something that is kind of ingrained in people that you meet, especially in the job you're in just now, when they come to speak to you?
Yeah, I think that is true. I think people can be sometimes, they have great ideas, but like you say, they're just like, oh, maybe somebody said they can't do that, or other people are kind of laughing at their ideas. I don't know, but what I would say is try it. If it doesn't work, then go to plan B. And it's the only way we learn in life is by trial and error. You've got to make successes. If you think about the great inventors in the world, right? Like, they didn't come up with ideas straight away. They had tons of mistakes before they got to. And I can't think of a good example, but the name of the guy that invented the light bulb. Did you know his name?
Hey, you've got me now.
It's not that. Is it Thomas Edison? No.
Thomas Edison, I think it was. Yep.
Yep.
I bet you'll be phone in.
He had something like 1,000 tries. He tried that about 1,000 times before he got the light bulb. Can you imagine if he gave up after his second attempt? So I would just say to young people, if you've got an idea, try it out, because quite often, if it doesn't work, another idea will come from that. And that's what I find in life. Things always work out. They maybe not always work out the way you think they were going to, but you just try and look for a positive and a negative.
I'm going to come to your next track, The Beatles. Here Comes the Sun. Why have you picked that?
This is a song that just really makes me smile. And I just think about, well, like Scotland, we're very weather orientated, aren't we? And like, if you go outside and if it's raining, that's all you hear is, oh, this rain, we're quite doom and gloom about it all. And then we've got this song, Here Comes the Sun, and it's been a long winter. I just feel it's a happy, chirpy, cheery song. And, if we could be like that, even if it is a dark, miserable day, then, a smile can brighten up Andy's day, can't it, really?
Yeah.
And you can't beat the Beatles.
So you're a Beatle fanatic then?
I'm not a fanatic, but I do like their songs. They're easy listening, aren't they?
Well, let's have a listen to that track.
You're listening to The Career Show with Eddy Gemmell.
something I'm going to pick up on is, I mean, I remember when I was younger, somebody kept saying to me, Eddie, don't listen to too many people. They can change it. And I think that was my fault. I think when I was probably my teens, I listened to too many people. Do you find that something that you're challenged with, or personally and with your job?
Yep. It can be hard not to listen to other folks' advice, because if you are, you know, you maybe think they've got more experience than you, so you maybe value that person. Like I said, you know, it could be somebody that's really close to you in your family. They might not be meaning to be negative, but it might not always be the right advice for you, and that's when I would say listen to your ring a ding.
Yeah.
I've got a wee example of a time when I was learning to drive, and I failed my test a few times, and it was down to nerves. But my wee grandpa said to me, Cheryl, I think you should just give that up. He says it's too dangerous, and I was like, no way, I've came this far. And I eventually passed. And see my wee grandpa now, he lives nothing more than going out a wee drive with me. And, you know, but he didn't mean me harm by that. But he was just thinking, oh, just, you know, an easier life, just give up, it doesn't matter. And he even said to me, I'm glad you didn't listen to me. So sometimes it is, we can listen to people and it's not the right thing, but you will have an instinct within you saying no, and you don't need to say it out loud. You can just say it to yourself, no, I think I'll do this.
Yeah.
And I was very much like that, Eddie, when I was young. I was very much you know, listening to what other folk think. It almost like, although I had my own opinions, I wouldn't voice them, but I would be kind of more guided by other folks' opinions.
Yeah. I'm going to come into hobbies and interests. You've mentioned the rambling. I mean, I'm no rambling. They call me a rambler. I'm rambling on the radio.
For different reasons.
But other things, we could talk about that in a wee minute. But other things, your art, you mentioned that earlier. Do you still involved in that?
I do wee bits and bobs. You know, it's a kind of thing I like doing in terms of relaxing, you know. So I'm quite creative when it comes to ideas and stuff. I love colouring in. That's never left me. And recently I've actually just bought some acrylic paints to paint some bottles. I'm going to make up wee bottles as gifts. So I still do wee bits and bobs. I'd quite like to get into the watercolour painting, so I might try that. It's finding the time to do this. Because as you say, my walking takes up quite a lot of my time as well. I'm really outdoors. I love being outdoors.
Yeah. We're going to come to your next track, Shania Twain. It's a favourite, that one. Why have you picked Shania?
Well, Shania, that particular song, You're Still the One, was actually my first dance at my wedding. And I always seem to do things the hard way. So like myself and Thomas were quite young when we met. We had our weddings first, we got a house, and then we get married instead of doing it the other way about. So that song kind of meant quite a lot to me because it's kind of similar, you know. Cheyenne wrote that for her husband, and it just kind of fitted where we were in our lives. And it's funny how a song can really do that for you. And you know, being in a relationship it's no easy at times. It takes a lot of hard work and stuff, and I think when you do things the way we done, it makes things a wee bit harder on yourself. So but we're still here, so that's about my relationship with my lovely husband Tommy.
Let's see that track.
You're listening to The Career Show with Eddy Gemmell.
Okay, I'm going to, let's talk about rambling.
Rambling.
I'm interested because I think I'm reaching that stage myself in life that I can't run anymore the way I used to. tell us about the rambling. What does it mean? I mean, I think the rambling tends to get a kind of, not a stigma, but people tend to think it's for elderly mainly.
Yep,
Is that right or wrong?
That's absolutely right. When my pal said to me, Cheryl, do you fancy this? I went, what the hell?
You're no elderly, you're still a young lady.
No, we were young. Well, we're still young. So I've been a member for about 4 years now. So basically, I thought that as well. But I'll tell you something, that some of them are in their 60s, 70s and 80s, and they are fit as fiddles, going up the mountains like mountain goats, I'll tell you. And there's all different levels of walks. So you pick and choose what kind of level of walk. So like an A would be like maybe Goat Fell. A B could be something maybe a not like a mountain or anything like that, but maybe it has a wee bit of hills. So maybe like Glenloyne Loop in Arica. And then a C would be a low level, no hills, flat walk kind of style. So I kind of tend to do the A's and B's because I like a challenge. But the thing for me, what I will say is, there's a lot of retired people in it, but there's a lot of young people in it as well now. And they're a great charity. They make sure, the Ramblers is a national organisation, they make sure we have access to the countryside because there's a lot of stuff going on there that folk don't realise, that paths are getting shut and, this is our countryside, and as long as we respect the rules, we can get there. And I've discovered so much about Ayrshire. I can recognise landmarks now. When I was first going out with the Ramblers, they were maybe pointing to hills and stuff, and I'm going, how do they know all this? And now I'm starting to pick it up. I can recognise, or I can go up and up that hill, But even during lockdown, the Rambling's been there. Although we haven't been walking, but I was still able to go and discover areas in North Ayrshire that I didn't know existed before. And I think a lot of folk have kind of taken up the walking. But for me, Ramblers is safety in numbers. When you're going further afield, you're with people that are experienced, you get your map training, compass training, all that kind of stuff. And they're just great people for all walks of life. And as I say, when I see them, they inspire me. So when I'm 70-year-old, I want to still be able to climb up Goat Fell. And I've, ever since I joined, I've done like Ben Nevis. I've done a beautiful walk in Steel Falls, which is still Nevis along Glen Nevis River, with this beautiful spot. And we had to climb a wire bridge to get across. It's like a tightrope to get across the river, and we actually swam back. So it's inspired me to probably have more courage to roam and be a wee bit more adventurous. And by God, I love it. Like Glencoe is my favourite place.
Yeah.
I'm up exploring the hills. It's just on your doorstep.
Yeah, you're right. It's on our doorstep. And
Yeah.
you hear people talk about the likes of the Ayrshire coast as well. I mean, what we have there is, we just don't appreciate it as much.
It's magic. It's magic. Do you know something? I've been all different places. My pals will laugh at me for this because I'm always desperate to see wild dolphins or whales. And I've been all different places and I've never seen them. And a few weeks ago, I was doing Stevenson Beach and it was coming to sunset and it was beautiful. And lo and behold, I seen all this commotion across the water, and there was some dolphins jumping about, and I couldn't believe it. I was like, all the places I've been to spot this, and I seen it in my own doorstep, and it was magical. I think it might have been the bottlenose whales that have been spotted up and down the Clyde and places. So our landscape is beautiful, and I'm just sorry it took me to this age to really appreciate it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to come to your next track, which is quite kind of more upbeat then.
Yep.
Black Eyed Peas.
I just love the Black Eyed Peas, this song, Where Is the Love? sometimes we can get a bit doom and gloom in life, and it talks in the lyrics about turning the other cheek and doing the right thing with people, and I think that's what I like to think about myself when I'm in my role at my work. I'm trying to help folk flip that coin and look more to the positives than the negatives. So, and it is a song I think most folk will know and love.
Well, let's hear that song.
You're listening to The Career Show with Eddy Gemmell.
On the run up to your last track, I mean, it's going to be The Killers. But what I want to do now is maybe sort of look at the job you're in just now, so that maybe people can understand what you're doing, the type of role that you have, and what you offer, for people out there. Could you tell us a bit more about that?
Yeah. So the role I've got as team leader, I've kind of worked with a small team, myself, Peter, and we've got a new guy, Donald. Our programme is an employability programme, but it's more about helping folk gain a bit of skill and experience that will help them in their journey towards. So it's not like it's not about getting people into jobs, it's more about building people up to get ready for that. So we deliver the Steps to Excellence course, which is a great course for really focusing in on your skills and abilities, but also helps you kind of look at setting goals to where you want to go in life. And then we have a life coach. That is more again that one-to-one time to really kind of talk about the bigger goal and maybe work on wee steps that you need to take to reach that goal. And the life coach is the things that come up most are things like health, cooking, well-being, relationships, things like that come up. So sometimes we've got to look at all these things before we can get somebody ready for work. And then we do a lot of we try and do like volunteer challenges. So we'll have sponsored walks, we'll have maybe areas in the community that we'll do up like a wee community garden, and then we'll link people into opportunities. So we work with the Scottish Fire and Rescue Service. They provide an opportunity within their community action team. So we have volunteers suited and booted with their uniforms, and they're out in the community promoting fire prevention, going into people's homes, fitting new smoke alarms and talking to them about being safe in the home. Very rewarding role. Increasing people skills, communication skills, timekeeping, and they get a reference for the fire service, which is absolutely fantastic. We have South Beach House in Ardrossan, which is a social care home. So we have people in there, we've got a handyman, folk in doing activities. So there's a range of things that we can support people to kind of get the practical experience, as well as the references that will help them progress. And it opens up other doors, it opens up training opportunities. Quite often folk really value and love that experience, but it brings the routine and structure back into people's lives, particularly if they've been unemployed for a long time, they've maybe had a mental health setback, or there's different things. We get people from all walks of life that come through the door, and it's just about helping folk build themselves back up, get that confidence back up, and look at where they want to go. We can lead them into other training. We work with Ayrshire College. We just really look at the person Eddy, and see what they want to do, and we adapt round about that. Right now, obviously the world's changed.
Yeah, that's right.
So a lot of our work used to be face to face, but a lot of it's virtual now, so we do a lot of Zoom and things like that. So we've had to adapt, and we still do our steps. We're doing a cooking on a budget, which has been really good. And that's came for the life coach, because the life coach is helping folk think about the nutrition, why they're eating things. If we've got a single person, they're not going to, a lot of them don't want to cook a big meal for themselves. So we're showing them how to cook a meal and they can freeze it. So we're doing this, but it's fun. It's interactive. We've got the community garden as well, so we can have limited numbers out there. And we're growing our own produce, which is great. And if we can use that in the cooking the budget, that's going to be fantastic. As well as our health walks. So we just pick short walks in the local area, and it's again just showing people short walks that they can access quite easily. So we'll go to places like Eglinton Park or the beach, Cannon Hill. You know, we'll have places that we've got a wee bit of history we can talk to them about as well. But it's about the outdoors, and a lot of folk think they can't. Well, I don't know if they can do it, but they come along and they do it, and they enjoy the. Sometimes you don't realise how far you've walked when you're talking, you know.
That's right.
So we're trying to just, like everybody else, adapt to a programme, keep the interactions up. A lot of placements are closed, but we're working with them to have a plan in place so that when they do open, we can get people out there. But at the minute, we've got a wee, you know, the car park behind our building.
Yeah.
There's a wee raised bed, and we're working on that. We've cleared it up, and we've got a couple of volunteers working on making that a nice wee area. So we're doing things like that, and litter picks that folk can get involved in, just minimum numbers, keeping to the social distance. So we're doing quite good.
How would anybody get in touch with you? What do they do?
Well, they can actually phone our office, which is the 01294 304030, or they could email Cheryl@tac.scot. They can get in touch and just ask us a wee bit more about the programme, and we'll be happy to chat to them. It's completely voluntary. So, you know, if they decide it's not for them, then that's absolutely fine. But we always try and find, if somebody's looking for something, we'll try and pass them on, because sometimes they're maybe just looking for something today. So we know about different groups and things like that. So we always try and kind of find something.
And link them up.
Yeah, link them up to whatever else is going on in the community.
On that, we're going to look at the Killers. Why have you picked them and Human?
This song really, for me, is about friendship, and I think it brings it back to me about my friends. We all love this song, and I think just really valuing your friendships is really important at a time like this. We can't meet up the way we used to, but you know, we can do things like Zoom. We've got telephone, but I think for me, it's just, you know, it's the things that are important in life. My friends are very, very important in my life. We do loads of adventures together. We actually call ourselves the Ayrshire Adventurers, because we're always looking for a challenge, and it's what we enjoy doing. So that's why I picked this song.
Well, thank you very much, Cheryl, for coming on the programme, and obviously we will get the programme out to people who hopefully you've inspired a few others to come in and volunteer, and maybe end up doing the type of job you're doing as well.
Yeah, so, thank you so much for having me. And as I say, if you know, just trust your inner self, and don't be feared to make mistakes. That's what I come across. People are feared to make mistakes, but it's how we learn in life. That's what I think.
Yeah, make mistakes, you learn from them.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Eddy. Thank you.
Hear from you soon.
Bye-bye. You're listening to The Career Show with Eddy Gemmell.
That was brilliant. Right, can you do one last thing?
Right.
Is introduce yourself first. Hi, this is Cheryl Newall from TACT. You're listening to The Career Show with Eddy Gemmell.
Hi, this is Cheryl Newall from TACT. You're listening to the... Oh, sorry. What am I saying?
You're listening to The Career Show with Eddy Gemmell.
Right, I'll go for it.
Right, one more, because you've nearly got it.
Hi, I'm Cheryl Newall from the Ayrshire Community Trust. You're listening to The Career Show with Eddy Gemmell.